Good morning, everyone. So, what's the secret? The secret is simply this: Christ in you, the hope of glory. You know, Jesus said in John 6:44, no one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him. That means that if you are in Christ, or even if you don't know Jesus, but you feel you're being drawn to him, it's the Father, the God of all creation, who is drawing you. And I want to share a testimony here, because when I was 19, I met a man and he asked me to marry him, and I agreed, and we got engaged. And shortly after we got engaged, he suddenly announced to me that he was a Christian and that he wanted me to become a Christian. So he sent me all by myself on a Saturday all-day retreat where they spoke about the Stations of the Cross. I was not a Christian, and I just couldn't understand any of it. I found it quite boring, in fact. And but anyway, I did it because I was going to marry this man. And then about 2 weeks later, having not seen any change in me, he said to me, "Look, Jill, do you believe in the resurrection?" And I said, "No, I don't." Because you see, my mom had taught me that Jesus went into a coma, and that they buried him, they put him in the tomb, and when he came out of the coma, they whisked him away to safety. And so the whole thing was a sham, and that's what I believed. So I said, "No, I don't." And he said, "Well, I'm sorry, but if you don't believe in the resurrection, I can't marry you." And so, on the strength of that, the engagement was broken up. Thank goodness. About 15 years later, when I was married to my one and only husband now, Jesus found me, and I had a radical conversion. And do you know what happened to me? I suddenly realized I believe in the resurrection. And that can only happen by the grace of God. That can only happen if God has revealed himself to you. And that's what he does. He draws us to Jesus. In John 1:12 and 13 in the Living Bible, it says, "To all who believed him, he gave the right to become children of God." All they needed to do was to trust him to save them. All those who believe like this are reborn, not a physical birth resulting from human passion, but from the will of God. That's amazing grace. There's no performance. There's no judging whether you're measuring up or not. It's all grace. And you know, the Amplified Bible describes the word grace in brackets in several places, but especially in 2 Corinthians 1:12. It describes the word grace. It's almost like a definition of grace, I suppose you could say. And it says it like this: it's God's unmerited favor and merciful kindness by which he, exerting his holy influence upon souls, turns them to Christ and keeps and strengthens and increases them in Christian virtues. It's God exerting his holy influence upon us that turns us to Christ. And he's actively working in us. And he always completes what he starts. He'll never give up on you. And it's all by grace. Always remember, you're highly favored and deeply loved of God.